All right, there. We're live.
We're live, pal.
All right. Thank you guys for tapping in. Here we go. In three, two.
It's silly.
Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, everybody? It's Idamos High. I'm with my tag team partner, CT, aka Chitty Bang. What's going on with you, my brother?
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? And we are, and you are now tuned in to the Underground Professional Wrestling Podcast, Reasonable Wrestling. Now, check us out on RW Podcast One and all medias associates. RW Podcast One on Twitter, Reasonable Wrestling everywhere else, including Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. Check us out. And if you want to get some merchandise, check out eiwshop.com to cop this wonderful Everything is Wrestling hoodie. Rumbling Everything Wrestling hoodie. We're in the Rumble season. We'll get into that in a little bit. But uh today we're here to talk about the week that was in professional wrestling. Um let's I haven't I mean I know we're gonna freestyle today on this pop. We're gonna freestyle today. But I think we would be remiss to not start with the business and logic of the week.
Sure. I mean, go ahead. I'll go ahead and mute myself, and you can go ahead and take over the reins right now, so I don't step over it.
We're just a tag team, man. Why you gotta mute yourself? I wasn't planning on you muting yourself.
No,
Goddamn.
no, I just don't want to. I don't want the ref to give us the count while you in the ring
Oh
doing
my
the thing.
god.
You
Okay, listen.
know what I mean?
You really want to go with the revival FTR type of strategy. I see how it is. We're gonna keep it traditional here. All right, so I'll be in the ring. Hot tag me and listen. When it comes down to when it comes down to it, there was a lot of business going on in the WWE atmosphere this week. A lot of news, a lot of breaking news, and a lot of people went live to talk about things, whether you call it prematurely or not. But let's just get right into it. Last week, Vince McMahon came back as executive chairman of the WWE, and I think the board has unanimously, I think well, at first he came back as executive chairman, like fired two other people or three people, hired three other people in different places of certain positions on the board, and then they unanimously brought him back, and now they're approaching the potential sale of World Wrestling Entertainment. So that has been breaking news all week pretty much. And then that was followed by the news of Stephanie McMahon stepping down stepping down as CEO. Now Nick Khan is the sole CEO of the company. Um, and let's first stop right there. Stephanie McMahon, stepping down is official for one. So she stepped down earlier in 2022, mid you know mid of the year to handle things with her family. But once the scandals got out of hand with Vince and the allegations started to
and
wrap up,
and I'm sorry. This is the cheat. This is the ref turning his back. This is why I muted myself. And she took time. She took time off because Paul, right? We love
mhm,
Paul Levesque right now. He had a crazy
health
cardiac
scare. Oh my God, yeah.
heart health scare that like, and between her day to day with the business, her being a wife and her being a mother of three, she had took time off and took a step back. And like you were saying, the allegations came and she had to step forward. So go ahead. I'm back
No,
at
no, there, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like, so she came back. She left due to her family, situation and business and all that. And then she stepped back up once the allegations, and Vince obviously had to retire, and so on and so forth. So, but with her leaving the company now, immediately my first thought was, oh no, something's going down. Something is going down more than just her leaving. Now, granted, she was going to leave earlier last year, anyways, because of the family situation and everything going on with trips and just to be a mother. But the allegations forced her back in. Now that Vince came back, okay, is it just, oh, now you're back? I'm leaving. I'm going to handle my family, or is there more to the story, or is there more with the business that, hey, listen, I am not, a part of it because of XYZ reason. And then subsequently, right after, that news came out of Stephanie, there was multiple sources reporting, apparently falsely, that Vince has already put in place a sale of WWE to a Saudi Arabia investment fund, which blew up the internet. People are going live on YouTube. We did
But
not. We were not one of
nigga,
them.
that shit hit CNN, my nigga.
What?
That
Okay.
shit hit MSNBC, my nigga. Like that,
So yeah,
like you know what I'm saying. Like shout out to Reddit. You know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
Yeah,
shout out to Reddit.
like real reputable sources were reporting this, and it got like it just took on a life of its own. Like everybody was kind of like mourning the demise of WWE for a good like 12 hours because it felt like, wow, if they really did sell this company to a Saudi Arabia company, it's going to change the whole landscape of the business.
Now to be fair, I mean, Vince has not bought himself any type of credibility during this time frame for us to be like, well, no, he won't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, yes, he can. You know what I mean? Like him taking those billions from the Saudi Arabia financial group will allow them to go back private, right? And clearly we know what type of situation they care about. We know when they regards to women and shit like that. Like they don't give a fuck what Vince is doing, with his you know what I mean? Like this is sports washing in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine,
you look at
all our favorite women being in fucking Power Ranger outfits every week. I mean, we can do it once a year, but every fucking week, them being in this freaking leotard or something like that. I'm telling you, if they sell to Saudi Arabia, get prepared for that shit.
Well, I will also just to be not to be as cynical. I don't believe that for one that sale will be necessarily something that gets done. And the reason why I say that is because Nick Khan was also found out to be schmoozing around during the college football playoffs with ESPN's Bob Iger and the likes. You know what I'm saying? Of being around. I mean, listen. Let's not forget. I was just about to say. Let's not forget where Nick Khan came from. Nick Khan is and was at his core a business guy in the entertainment sports realm, right? He got all your famous people on ESPN rich by being a shark in the water, getting that bread. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when we talking about Vince having the absolute best guy to go get him his bread, I can guarantee you, like, listen, this might be something that college coaches do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he going to the NFL and he do that just to get the bag raised up back at home? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's to say that this is not a ploy to get Comcast or NBC Universal back, Disney, right? Who's to say that this is not to push that price tag up? So I will like to say that I'm not going to jump the gun and say that, that the Saudis will be running it. But I will say, listen, Live Golf is a thing because the PGA Tour was strenuous and rigid, and Live Golf is now allowed to give those players the money that they never thought they would have. Now, when we talk about the soul selling of that, I don't believe that a lot of people in wrestling is going to take that money or be able to take that money because of their religious backgrounds.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I was talking to, to the hypothetical. I was not saying that this is what we should expect.
Absolutely.
I'm speaking to the hypothetical of the fact that we were for 12 hours believing that WWE just sold to the devil, like, or to the blood money Saudi Arabia. Everything's gonna change. Women aren't gonna be seen. Fuck the fucking LGBTQ community, and then who knows however creative is gonna be affected from that. Everybody's saying prayers for Sami Zayn online. Like that moment was fucking weird because we were like really mourning like our whole childhood for a little bit, But I'm not
Well,
saying. But then the news came
but
out
that was
eventually, huh?
that was like football too. Like, to, not the kind of blender too. And I'll bring cousin to get his opinions on that. But we was mourning football last week, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we was like, damn, like, is this really it? Did we see
The change
somebody
of
perish, right?
Yeah.
In football, is this the changing of the guard? Now you go literally a week after that, and we're like, damn, is this the changing of the guard with WWE? Is this with the like?
I mean, the only difference is that there is another space to go, AEW. But at least for what we grew up on, the WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it, the whole fabric of it would have changed if they sold to Saudi. And I think everybody understood that. Everything going on. Vince coming back last week has not felt worse. Like, I mean, all it did was make people more upset that he's returned. Now, if he's just here for the business, then it is what it is. But people are super concerned about the creative, and we all know that if this gets sold to a private company, the creative gets whoever honestly whoever it gets sold to, doesn't matter if it's Disney, ESPN, it's going to change.
Well, that's what I wanted to act. That's what I wanted to say. People were scared when niggas thought that Disney was going to buy it. So are we just scared like as fans, right? This is what I want to pose to you guys as fans, right? We and this blends into the sports and Marvel and wrestling and all that. What are we really concerned with?
That's change. People are not good with change. But
yeah, that's what it is. It's to change. It's to, okay, with that change, what exactly are they going to change? Like because with any bureaucracy that takes over, it's like they're bringing in a certain ideology. So like if Disney were to buy it, I'll be honest, I'll be the ones that's like, I'm actually all right with that, because I know that they gonna give a certain kind of direction, but they also gonna give a certain kind of freedom to it. It's like that would have been
yeah. I mean, listen, they are distribution right now for UFC, my nigga. Right. And listen, Dana White ain't got an answer for shit.
Disney makes sense. Like,
wait, hold on, time out. Disney is UFC is under Disney.
You can watch UFC fights on ESPN Plus if you pay for it. UFC does their own production. It's just like the distribution with AEW and Warner Brothers, right? AEW picks up their fucking tab. They do all that shit. Y'all just distribute our shit. So UFC is under the umbrella, is a distribution rights with ESPN, and you see what can happen if you are just strictly, hey man, I pay my own fucking ticket, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like your money really don't affect me right now. You know what I mean? So that can be a play for them, honestly.
Yeah.
That can be a play. I mean, Dana White slapped his wife, nigga. Ain't nobody got a response to that nigga at all, bro. No, I mean, if y'all to laugh at that, bro. I was making a point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I
didn't expect it. I saw. Yeah, but
I'm gonna mute my mic again.
No, it's facts. It's facts. So like, if they sold to like Walt Disney Corporation or ESPN, put them under the umbrella of ESPN, and they do the same rights deal with UFC. They're like, yo, Trips, you Nick Khan can do whatever you want, as long as the business is right. We can go ahead and do this, and just don't get into any controversies. That's cool, because UFC obviously is violence. WWE is obviously violence. Too.
Football is also violence that they pay $1.3 billion for.
Absolutely.
So they in the business of buying violence, bro.
So even though it's Walt Disney, I look at it like, oh, are they going to look at WWE from a more like pure standpoint? Of like, oh, do we want to sell merchandise more? Do we want to sell more action figures now? Do you want to turn them into makeshift superheroes and go that route? Because that's definitely a possibility if they own it. If they get to a point where they own it and they're like, listen, we want to tone down on the weapons and the foul language, and which we've been there for a while, but it could be even
So
more,
nothing.
or the
So essentially,
booty
we going
shorts
back
the
to the
girls are
PG
wearing.
era, nigga. Like we've been doing that. Like you know what I'm
But
saying.
hey,
Like we've been
but
in the
here's the
PG
thing:
era.
if they say, "Listen, we got to change the attire of the woman so that they wear less skimpy outfits or whatever it is," it's still going to be wrestling at the end of the day. I'm not going to hate on it, but I'm saying these are the things that potentially people are kind of concerned about, because the
Packaging.
direction, especially the direction of creative. Can you tell certain stories? Are we not allowed to touch on certain things? That's the thing that people are concerned about. But yeah, we've already been in the PG era. We've seen change in the industry in the past, so people are just a little bit uncomfortable with the next
and
version of that, I guess.
we've seen WWE, like, listen, like they're not stupid, right? They did the whole Vladimir Putin shit with Rusev, and then once Linda McMahon got into the cabinet, they shut that shit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're very cognizant when you say being able to tell stories. I don't even think like right now the intricacies of stories is a problem, because they're not telling anything quote unquote racy, or they're not telling anything on the borderlines of controversy. They're not even telling adult storylines, right? That was something that we've been complaining about. You know what I mean? Like they're not, that right now, currently in this stage, in this current era
Incarnation of wrestling right
of
now.
right there, they're not catering to. This goes back to Marvel, right? Nigga, they about to start doing the Young Avengers. I don't know when y'all stop reading comic books, but I know I ain't never heard of the Young Avengers. You know what I'm saying? And it's to get another group or another
Demographic,
generation.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Into it. So, and I would like to say this too, with Vince coming back, we knew it was inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Like like when it happened and stepped down, like it all depends on what the controversy was, right? And if we was going to keep it in a news cycle, if we was going to keep the negative, connotation around Vince around. But once we started immortalizing this nigga when he stepped down, and was like, good on you, Vince, for what you created, and blase, and nigga, he had a good, how long he been gone? 5 months. And nigga, he like, well, I guess I could come back. You know what I'm saying? Because shit is cooled down. You know what I mean?
What's funny about this is it's just the power dynamic of that he has over the company, and at the end of the day, there is no ramifications for what what apparently came out, the allegations. The people that apparently were unfairly treated because he was having certain relations with them. On top of that, there is a class action lawsuit now on him because he just came back and enforced his will, and pretty much strong armed, this whole, his entry back into the company. And it's a thing where the ego of Vince, we all know that is there, and this is his creation. And honestly, I'm not sure how it feels to create something so grand and then step away from it for 5 years, 5 months. But meanwhile, people were happy with it. Like, if you're talking about just from the creative standpoint of things, people are happy with the product being put out there. People were happy with Trips being in control, creative, and things going forward with the company. Trips had his annual or no quarterly meetings, and he has a lot of plans for NXT moving forward. He has a lot of plans for all types of stuff. So when Vince comes back and says, "Hey, listen, we've got to sell," it's a huge deal, even though like we could have seen it coming a mile away. Even it's just it doesn't make it any less, how you say, what's the word? It's over. It's not right the way he's going about it. Put it that way. It's not like ethical. That's what I would say. It's not ethical. It's not ethical. But then Vince, when has he been ethical? But at the end of the day, we'll see how the class action lawsuit comes about. If he's really here to just sell the company, then we'll see. But if he starts to get to a place where he's now in charge of creative, trust me, I just want to get to WrestleMania and have these storylines that we like right now culminated in a positive manner. I said it's going to take from WrestleMania, from Vince stepping down to WrestleMania to see if things were going in the positive direction for WWE. It took me less time than that to see that, hey, things can be all right even without Vince, or it could be even better. So I want to curious to see how WrestleMania see coming around, how it was without Vince, sucking up all the air in the room and saying this is what we have to do. What does that look like without Vince? And I'm curious to see that happen, but now we're not going to get that potentially, and that's what I was kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that might be the majority. You know what I mean? I know, speaking for myself, that's absolutely my concern. As soon as you see the headline, that's the first thing that that pops in your mind, because again, if you got somebody who is majority owner, you know what I'm saying, and yeah, they got the class action suit going on. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't speculate.
Yeah.
But I can speculate and say, if he's the majority owner, it ain't but too much. That's, you know what I mean, ain't but too much he could do. You know what I mean? It's like, well, legally, I am majority holder. I can do X, Y, and Z. Even if I stepped away, I still own majority of. You're the little guy on the totem pole.
Exactly.
You got to suck it up. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, and because we know Vince is nothing but ego, it's like, again, for us, we sitting there looking at it like, man, it's only a matter of time before he come in that room, in that creative room, like, nah, I don't like this shit on the, wipe this shit off. This is what we're gonna do.
You brought back who?
This guy back. We're bringing Goldberg back, and this is what we're gonna do. It's like it's only a matter of time, and it's like it's deflating almost, because these past, but if it's 5 months, however long it's been, has been like a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Exactly. It's been like a breath of fresh air. We'll see how things move forward. Hopefully, he doesn't step into that creative room. Hopefully, this class action lawsuit keeps him away and occupied, so that we can get to WrestleMania through the season, and Trips can see his vision and his storylines come to.
That's the thing. That's the thing, because my nigga we about to go to WrestleMania, what, 39, right? 38, 39. That nigga ain't been around. You trying to tell me? You trying to tell me the nigga who created WrestleMania? You trying to tell me I ain't gonna be there?
Exactly.
You trying?
And literally right before you came on, that's all I was saying. I was like, when we look at it, all we know is the inevitability of this egomaniac who is the majority owner. Yeah, they got you tied up in these class action suits, but nigga, money talks, and I'm the money. So all you're doing is inconveniencing me right now.
Well, I would say this though. He's not the money when he is actually taking. Now, this is the only thing I can really fuck him up. He was taking funds from his asset, his dividends from the organization, and then using it for hush. And this is the thing, cuz that I think that we have to have layered conversations about as well, is that people like Vince McMahon and people like Dana White, they seem to be able to get away with a lot more for the simple fact of, like you say, I'm the money, right? Dana White talk is like, well, what do you think I should do? Be suspended? I mean, they can't run the business without me. And the fact that,
and it's kind of right. That's the fact. That's the thing. I think it's kind of true.
That's not true.
Dana White,
it is. You can't show me a case where the opposite has happened.
Well, you can't. I mean, yeah, you can't show a case because Dana's always been. That's the same thing that Vince is talking about, and we got the proof right now to say, hey, nigga, when you left, shit was still cool. Shit was still gravy. Business was still running, and I think it's going to have to take people like we talked about with Tua Tagovailoa, right? You're gonna have to take the agency away from these motherfuckers, right?
You think they're talking about taking the agency away from Vince?
Right, that's exactly, because that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
You're talking about taking the toy away from the guy who owns it, the guy who is legally majority owner. And the case study I got, even though of course it's not going to be picture perfect, but like the example I got is James Dolan for the New York Knicks. It was the same shit with him. He was taking assets from the Rangers and the Knicks to fund his fucking band. And they was
That's
against him,
crazy.
like, yo, we got to get this nigga up out of here. Dolan ain't went no fucking where, bro.
But the band is different than paying hush
It ain't
money for
because he
sexual
took money-
misconduct,
He took
Rich.
money from the Knicks and the Rangers, which he's majority of,
Hold on.
It's stealing.
his
It's
band
basically
that has nothing to do with the Knicks or the Rangers.
Hold on, bro.
This nigga was doing his own chitlin circuit down south, Nick and Ranger related, bro.
Oh, I'm not talking about that, man. I'm talking about the
I am just
misconduct
for the
of
sake
it.
of a case study.
The-
All I'm
I'm-
saying is I'm using that as a case study. Like,
But that's
but
that's
I hear what you're saying because the misconduct and sexual allegations
that-
and a
like-
band are
like,
two different
I-
things,
paying-
but it's still
paying
at the
for
end
a
of the day,
band and paying
stealing.
It's
It's stealing from your stock shareholders. It's really what it is to pay for your own personal gain or own personal thing. Because the sexual misconduct, you can talk about it from a place of
That's
yes. morally what happened with these women and the positions they were in, and they had their lawsuits, and he paid them off. Like he said, hey, don't say nothing. Here, take this $100,000 or $1 million, whatever it is. That came out of the funds of the company, so that's what they're arguing about. They don't really care about those women at this point. They just want like, yo, listen, you're not.
The book said $18 million, bro. Like $18 million.
18 million. Okay,
like that's for hush money. For like, listen, I can understand. It's not shit. Listen, James Dolan can run a band, right? It's not shit that you technically not supposed. You not supposed to be sexually assaulting people. You know what I'm saying? Like that really got to get him out the.
It wasn't assault. It was misconduct.
Misconduct. I'm sorry. Misconduct.
Relations have been consensual, but he said, "Hey, don't say nothing. Here's his money," and the money came out of the company's money. And they're like, "Oh, yo, you can't take my money to pay that bitch." That's what they're saying, pretty much. They're saying, "No, you're that's what they're saying."
But this is how he
and
wins.
Like, you can't pay my money.
This is how he wins. I get your money back and triple it.
Yeah,
if I can sell.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get your money back and I can triple it if I can sell. I just need y'all to just hold up. And we look at this with sports. Like, listen, New York State right now, right? The Pagulas is worth $6.6 billion. Why the fuck the state gotta give you $800 million for a stadium, bro? Why does state gotta take away educational funds and shit like that to put a stadium in Buffalo when you got the money? And I think economically, like, and ethically and morally, like, we gotta start just be like, nah, that's the cost of business, because we ain't never gonna be in position to do that shit. We ain't never gonna be able to talk about business like that if that's just the cost of doing business.
It's crazy because states.
The thing is we don't have the say in the matter. We can't move the needle because we the guys at the bottom of the totem pole. It's the elected officials and everybody else that we put in a position to say, hey, man, well, we signed $1 million in what position, so we need you to do X, Y, and Z. But nigga, if they line in their pockets and said politician is saying, hey, well, my hands is tied.
Shout out to Rod DeSantis that allowed us to have a WrestleMania in Tampa. You know what I'm saying?
You got rained out.
That nigga had Tony Khan and Vince McMahon was like, okay, you got Orlando, you got Jacksonville. Gotcha.
Nigga.
You know that's what you need. That's like
COVID who?
Yeah,
what was what?
COVID. Oh, you mean my first cousin. I know I'll handle it.
You mean Corey? Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Yeah, he's an essential worker. Yeah, I heard.
Coronavirus. Corey Vantos, my cousin.
Yeah.
Primo.
I think that's my when we like he can't miss. We make the statement of like, yeah, he can't miss a WrestleMania. Like, yes, I think it's important for us. Like when we have these podcasts, right? Like I understand you saying we're the bottom of the barrel. But man, if it's enough of us, like, and I'm freestyling, right? If it's enough of us talking about MJF, right? MJF promo was racist as fuck, and we can't just keep going off the premise of he a heel, nigga. Like Jim Cornette's a heel, nigga. We get that nigga the fuck up out the paint every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that nigga MJF, bro, like we can't keep just humming like this is what it is type shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it is important for us to continue to speak about it in layers and in depth and in nuance and just be like, yo, Vince, I know you got majority of the shares and shit like that. please, if you're gonna sell it, don't sell it to Saudi. You know what I'm saying? Sell it, get your money, and get the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're gonna do, that's what you're gonna do. But if you coming back to be an octogenarian and trying to be the Jerry Jones of wrestling and be the GM, the owner, the president, the CEO, the rapper, you know what I'm saying? If you trying to motherfucking do it, man, go on, sit your old ass down somewhere, nigga. You know what I mean?
And
now to
it's his
tag on that, I mean, like realistically, when I say us, that would take us as in the total wrestling fan. That would take us
correct
and not support
because the UFC fans support Dana White like she hit him first. Like, it matters.
They're acting like she's a UFC MMA freaking trained fighter, like as if he's has a right to hit her. You know, it's crazy. That's why I don't even touch on that because people are UFC MMA fans. They just bother me, dog. Like because they feel like they're the toughest guys in the world. And that they can just talk shit and fight people and punch people. Like, it's ridiculous. But going back to this whole thing with Vince, man. Going back to this whole thing with dude, if they were to sell to Saudi, I did consider like not watching wrestling. I came across my mind like, listen, I can't watch WWE. Because I mean, I was conflicted when Crown Jewel first came about. You know, so when you're talking about us as a wrestling fan base not supporting something, it will take something that says to the fan base, hey, listen, you can't support this. You know, with the way, and I can make jokes all we want, but there is a lot of social injustice in Saudi Arabia, period. Like, you know, and if they were to do something like that and sell to a company or an investment fund of certain places that, you know, just don't vibe with you morally, I think a massive people will turn the cheek. And I'm not sure it's going to be majority, but there will be a bunch of people that will turn, not just fans, but employee members, staff, wrestlers of the like, sponsors, you know will turn the other cheek and say, listen, we're not going to spend our money here. And WWE, as we know it, will not be the same company. So if he's coming back to sell the company altogether, you know, just allow us to get through WrestleMania creatively and figure out a solid place that can hold the to some likeness of the same company you ran all these years, because he owes it to his fan base to at least put it in the hands of people that he can trust, or some people that are not going to be reckless, or at least going to give the people that he does trust agency to control the company creatively and business business wise.
Well, we kind of already saw the writing on the wall when, you know, we spoke about it when George Barrios I do forget, and I apologize, the lady that got released when he brought in the new financial and Nick Khan to come in and run and when we saw that, when we said that, we was like, yo, it's a shark in the water right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he got an itch and he kind of see the writing on the wall, right? And realistically, like nobody saw what COVID was going to do to everything, right? And if you pay attention to a lot of the things Saudi got their hands, listen, Saudi got $5 million equity in got 5 million shares in Disney. Why we talking shit? You know what I'm saying? But again, we don't know what that type of equate to when they talk about what the value of it or how much could be pennies to a dollar when we talk about that, you know what I'm saying?
We don't know when we're talking like this type of money and this type of stuff, these deals, we don't know exactly what the investment fund means. Like, you know, like Saudi investment fund, like, are they gonna give other people in charge of the charge of the company?
Well, it's sports washing. It's the Saudi prince and those alike who want to present themselves in a more reputable fashion, right? And the most way that you do that is through sports. So
sports culture. I hear you. And in that sense, this is not something that we can essentially just act as if, oh, it was just a rumor. You know,
exactly.
Exactly. Although reports came out that, hey, this is not, they weren't sold and all that stuff. We can't look at this as just a rumor, because I think that with the trickle down of Stephanie leaving and then that immediately coming out, right. I don't think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, that's not coincidence. That's
I don't think that it blowing up to where CNN and MSN are picking it up is just a coincidence either. I think that a lot of people heard the possibility of this being the case.
Well,
And
I'm sorry to cut you off, but if you look at the totality of sports in general, right? If you look at the evaluation process of these sports franchises, right? Just look at the 9 years that the Golden State Warriors have been prevalent with Steph Curry. They went from being worth Miami Marlins. They were essentially worth $700 million and sold for 1.2, an extra 500 million because of whatever the fuck you thought that sports franchises are going to appreciate. Well, when COVID happened, you look at other franchises like the Miami Heat. They were funded by Carnival Cruise. Now, Carnival Cruise have their own shareholders, and Mickey Arison, the owner of Carnival Cruise and the owner of Miami Heat, was able to go to his shareholders and say, "Hey, I know we lost money here with the Miami Heat. I'm gonna need another capital draw to fund the Carnival Cruise, but we're gonna make this back up because niggas gonna go cruise." But right now, niggas not trying to put their money and put it elsewhere. So when you looking at Vince in totality, when Vince takes the money from the share, or when he's plummeting the fucking stock price, and then when he leaves in the stock, but look at the stock now, man. You look at the stock now; they up like $94, $95.
you know why? You know why? Because that potential sale is coming. So clearly, a big, buyout is going to happen. So you put that money into WWE right now, and you're like, listen, I'm going to wait until it sells, and I'm going to get my money back. And that's it. Once it goes up to a certain amount, take my money out, or when it sells, I get whatever portion comes to me as an owner of the company, and that's it. That's that. Because until now, until the sale, it could go up even further. A lot more, depending on who the news that comes out and who's gonna buy and how much the number is gonna be. Like Rich was saying, like on our group chat, like I'm curious to see how much they bought.
Bro, how much are they? I mean, listen, the Denver Broncos are worth $4.6 billion. The Walmart family had to buy that for 4.6. How much is WWE worth, bro?
I don't know, man.
How much is WWE with their library, with their intellectual property, with that, like a global? How you're talking about the Denver fucking Broncos? I don't think niggas know where Denver is. You know what I'm saying?
You know what we don't talk about though, also, and this is like side conversation. Once it is sold, do you think Vince is gonna do something else? What the hell is Vince gonna do? Is he just gonna chill?
Die.
Is he just die? I don't think so. I think Vince is a guy who wants to work. I think a guy who's gonna put some money into something else. I'm not sure if it's gonna be wrestling. It could be football. It could be something else. It could be, martial arts. It could be anything. But Vince is gonna make his money somewhere.
Bodybuilding. This nigga gonna bring up Ico Pro back, nigga. Like,
I don't know, but I'm always curious about like what billionaires do with their money after they, make.
Well, clearly they scam other people to keep their billions. That's what they do? You know what I'm saying? Like, so clearly he's gonna be figuring out how to scam some more.
Damn.
But I think realistically, like, I don't know if you ever saw the show Succession.
Succession. I was about to bring that up.
No, I love that show.
I haven't finished the first season, but this is exactly like Succession.
Nigga, what you mean exactly? They wrote the script off this family, nigga. What are you talking about? Nigga, they tried to say it's from the Murdoch family, you know what I'm saying? They trying to, you know what I'm saying? This is nigga, this
company,
man family, nigga. You know what I'm saying? This is exactly like
down
that.
To the son-in-law and everything.
Bro, like I think really it's again, we talk about Dana White, we talk about Vince McMahon, we talk about the people who created this, that Gruden, right? Dana sold his shit for $4 billion. He sold human cockfighting for $4 billion. Right, he sold UFC for $4 billion, my nigga. He made it public. He made UFC public, my nigga. So like when we talking about Vince, and he's like, yeah, nigga, like the fuck, UFC is in the image of me, nigga. If they sold for $4 billion, like no, this is his legacy. If Vince can sell his shit for a record deal that puts him above Warren Buffett, or you know what I'm saying, niggas like fucking but again, I don't know how rich is rich, because Steve Ballmer paid for the Clippers in cash, nigga. They asked that nigga for $2 billion. That nigga said, give me a minute. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how rich you gotta be. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. I can't even fathom that. Like,
I don't even know, bro.
I can't pay for a car in cash. That's crazy. Yeah, this guy's paying for
I can't pay
Clippers
for
in
groceries in cash, nigga. This motherfucker
cash.
bought the team in liquid. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
wild, yo.
again, I don't really know, man. But I do want to. I know we didn't breeze by it, but I want to get back to the boy MJF, man.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, I didn't watch, so please catch me up to speed.
I want you to play the promo if you can
Yeah,
find it.
yeah, go ahead. Let me
I'm
get
about,
you.
to, I'm about to see if I can find the
I thought it
promo.
was hilarious.
You thought it was hilarious.
Yes.
Yes. Chris said this shit racist. I need to hear this shit.
It's racially insensitive for sure, but it's not racist.
I'm not letting you off the hook with that, nigga. What is the fucking difference, nigga? What is the fucking difference?
Listen, this is the same dude that like 2 weeks ago was like MJF is a basic performer in AEW, and now he's like, oh, I'm done. Listen, when it comes down to MJF, we all know what to expect from this guy.
Okay, I wanna go ahead and preface this by saying MJF did have a great year last year. So I am not going, and he did not take a lot of the lowbrow shit last year. He had a real life kind of gripe with CM Punk, and he did his shit with, you know, like it wasn't lowbrow, it wasn't low hanging fruit, it wasn't xenophobic, it wasn't racist, it wasn't like, come on, man, he called Freddie Prinze Scooby Dooby douchebag, my nigga. That's the same as, like, come on, man, like, you know what I mean?
Like,
he's
not in a few with it was just
I
I
understand, but I mean, at the same time, like, if you're gonna make that a part of your shit for the show, if you're gonna come out and interrupt in the middle of the match that everybody's anticipating, you gotta come out better than motherfucking Scooby Dooby douchebag, my nigga. And talk about, I don't give a fuck that Freddie Prinze was in the crowd or Kim Jong, nigga. Get the fuck out the ring, nigga. The fuck you talking about?
It's the same thing The Rock did. It's the same thing that Stone Cold does. You know, when you're the top guy, you have a segment outside, and you might talk about some people in the front row. The difference is that MJF is a heel who is like, he's almost like a person who's you want to get roasted by. It's like a thing, you know? So he goes and he roasts people, and he does it well. He has creative ways of coming at people. You know, at the end of the day, that's not the substance of this feud that he's going through with Daniel Bryan. We all know that it has to do with how he attacked William Regal. But we all know that MJF at some point was gonna say something that people are like, hey, that's going too far, because he pushes the boundaries. And that's part of his brilliance, is that he kind of toes the line of what's appropriate and what's not, whether it's telling Renee Paquette to, you know, shut her mouth right in the middle of a promo. And you know how people say you can't talk to women a certain way. He did that flat out right on AEW, and no one said shit. But when he talks to a Japanese wrestler and he says konnichiwa, which is actually hello in Japanese, and then he says, we talk American here. You know, like, yeah, it's racially insensitive. But if you can find a promo, I'll let Rich judge for himself. But to me, I was like, oh, here we go. You know, I already knew what was coming.
Well, and so, okay, and I was away. You know, I heard the genius and everything like that. Listen, I don't want to give this man too much credit. He's a good professional wrestling heel. He brought back the feel of where you really dislike the nigga. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, in real time, when Roddy Piper painted his face half black, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of motherfuckers that were like, all right, this nigga Roddy doing a little bit too much now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, you know, like, I know it was wrestling, motherfucker, but you doing a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even in the realm of that, like, if we're calling MJF the new Roddy Piper, my nigga, like, all right, we speak American here. We speak, you know. I'm about to see if I can find. I'm about to see. I think I ended up finding. This is it. Yeah. Not the whole. I don't think this is the whole thing, but let me see if I can find it. But yeah, man, I think for the most part, man, like when it comes to MJF, once he beat Mox, once he injured William Regal, it hasn't. It's been a precipitous downfall. You
You
know what I'm
see,
saying?
and he called you. He called us. He said, and you're the one who pushed for MJF to win the championship. And when you listen to his promo after he won it, is exactly what is happening. Oh, you guys are gonna get tired of me. You guys are going to, say I'm mid and say that I'm not the same anymore. You guys are gonna get tired of this run. That's exactly what's happening. But he's literally doing the same thing he's done. Like I think that part of his MJF's appeal for me and a lot of people was, when is he going to become champion? Because we know that he has so much potential to be the standard bearer of AEW. Now that he's become that, that's why I wanted Mox to win. I wanted Mox to win that match as a heel and get a double turn and get a babyface run before he actually gets a championship in 2020, because he possibly could be leaving to WWE, next year. Who knows? But we'll see. I wanted that to be the story told, because I think it stretches out a little bit more of the intrigue in MJF. However, here we are. He's champion. Boom. He already said it in his first promo that people are going to get tired of him, which his promo he did on yesterday, whether you want to call it racially insensitive or whether you call it racist, people were reacting. The entire LA crowd was going crazy. Even when he called people out in front row, people were reacting to it, including the people that he was calling out. This is the placement of a star, whether it's The Rock, whether it's Stone Cold John Cena, whether it's, the champion Edge or CM Punk or whoever you want to say, who has held the title in a major company, has the ability to go out there on a microphone and capture the entire audience. And he did that. So goal accomplished. At this point, is his next angle going to be as entertaining because he's now the pinnacle? He actually has the belt? Probably not. It's probably not going to be as entertaining to some people because part of the intrigue was his chase, even though he was a heel. Right now, I thought it was entertaining.
Now that he's the man, what? And it's not that I'm tired of him, right? I don't. It's not. It's just, where's the evolution? You dig? Like you're saying, like he's doing the same stick. Like okay, like that was part of the chase, right? Like you were chopping down people in front of you, Cody, Jericho. You was chopping down, like you were doing this to get where you wanted to get to. You had to backstab. You had to do all that. Okay, you took away William Regal to initiate this thing with Bryan Danielson, but you have no teeth. Right, like he has no teeth. Like he did what he did to Regal, but what has he done to Danielson? Right.
Well, we got weeks until like the match. So like,
yeah, no, before Punk, nigga, before Punk in the dog collar match, nigga, he hung that nigga.
But you were tired of that angle too. Like within week 3, I'm like, yo, give him some time, and then you were back in it when he hung him. I remember.
Yeah, because it was the back and forth. Yes, it's always the same string of give him a mic and we'll see what he can do
week after week. Yeah,
but that does get stale,
and that's fine. You can be stale with this program right now, but it makes perfect sense. You gotta beat people, and we already know what this angle is gonna be. They staged the next 4 weeks. Last week, hey, Daniel Bryan, you gotta win every single match until February 8th to get your title shot in an Iron Man match. So that's what you're gonna be expecting. I don't know what you expect at this point. At this point, when it gets closer to the date, I'm sure MJF is gonna come up with some devious ways to try to get Daniel Bryan to lose. He's probably gonna attack him. He's probably gonna make him bleed or whatever it may be. He's gonna do something to get you even more like, okay, this is a match I want to see. It's weeks until this shit. So I'm not gonna judge where MJF is at right now off of 2 weeks of him being like into this angle. He had the whole thing with Ricky Starks, which was great because that promo with Ricky Starks was dope. It showed that two people were on the same level as far as mic work to me, and that you got two original AEW stars. And I think that we enjoyed it. And then they had the match. And I think I enjoyed the match. I think, you wanted a little bit more out of it, Chris, but it wasn't bad for me. It was a great main event. And now we get Daniel Bryan getting a shot. which is going to then go to an Iron Man match. We'll see if MGF can last an hour with Daniel Bryan and all that stuff that he said. I don't think it was lowbrow stuff. I think it was just MGF, being the douchebag he is, and getting the crowd riled up, and and being entertaining as a champion. Now, I don't know as a heel champion how you elevate. You don't. You stay right there and you have people chase you. So everybody else has.
Just about to say, if from what it sounds like, for starters, what he said was borderline offensive, which is kind of, I guess, what you want from your heels. You want them to kind of teeter that line of, "Oh, nigga, you wildin'." But
I found it. You want to play it? You want to hear it? I found it. All right, here's I can't show it.
No,
this not.
That's
but
cool.
I'll play it. Give me 1 second. We ain't got YouTube Premium right now, so give me a second. Let me skip this ad. Skip this so we don't hear this ad.
Yeah, we don't want to hear the commercials.
We don't get paid for that right now. Nah.
Can y'all hear it? Can you hear it?
Yeah.
He did say that Bryan Danielson, if Danielson wants to face MJF at Revolution for the AEW World Championship, he's got to climb through the top 5. He's got to wrestle every week for the next. Cut my music. Tony Khan picking the best challengers.
Where is he talking to? He's talking to Takashita, by the way, the wrestler who while they.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Your name's on the tip of my tongue. I believe it's Take a Shitta. Is that right? Did I get it right? Well, do me a favor, bud. Try not to take one in your pants tonight. I really need you to win this match. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Wow. And I thought Danielson was a bad public speaker. Hold on a second. Buddy, pro tip from the world champion. Don't listen to these people. Round here, we speak American. Okay, but think you can pull that off? American. I said, kiss my ass. That's good American stuff. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Whoa. Back him up. You backed him up. Out of the ring. Aubrey, I want him out of the ring, or he's going to be fined. Out of the ring. It's a match. See, let me. Yeah, I'm the one that interrupted Takeshita. He's fined. He doesn't fine people.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a stretch. I agree with you.
So I want to pause real quick. I want to pause real quick just to get the setting. The nigga Takashi was in the ring waiting to wrestle, and this nigga MJF came out and cut a 10-minute promo when we thought that we could get 10 extra minutes of this banger of a fucking match that just happened. So was a
banger.
It was a fucking banger.
They had 3 bangers, yo, like back to back, bang, bang, bang. That show was good. And you got the return, but we'll get into that. But Rich, what do you think?
I think it's even line, man. I'm not gonna say it's full on offensive, but I think he pushed the envelope for sure. He absolutely pushed the envelope because even that half of the crowd that was like, hold up, buddy. Like that was where the ooh came in. And, wait a minute, what the fuck he just say? Like that was the ooh. Other half just went silent. They like,
yeah, it's uncomfortable. Yeah,
so
I think. I can see why some people are offended.
It's tough. It's like,
well, and this is another thing, and I'm sorry to bring this up, and it's not like shit on MJF Day, but I mean it just has to be said, right? So, shout out to Public Enemy Podcast. You know what I'm saying? We shout them out all the time, and they got a network. They got All Elite Geeks. Shout out to All Elite Geeks. She does a show and everything like that. She takes care of AEW, and so she had posted something where her baby girl was reacting to wrestling and she was booing MJF, you know what I'm saying? And Keeks posted it or whatever, and MJF doing the heel thing, did the heel thing and retweeted and called the child ugly and all types of shit like that, bruh. And that then sent the zealots at her and her baby, you know what I'm saying? And like it is a fucking line.
There is a line, and the line is your performance, and then your and I think that's where things kind of get. I think he's got in trouble with this before. Like whereas people have asked for autographs, or he's like no, and all that stuff because he's trying to stay in character all the time. But you got to understand that MJF the character is not who you are. Like, and that's the thing. You can get too involved in the character because. I don't know who he is in real life. I mean, he might be a complete asshole. Who knows? But if you did that, you got to realize as a grown up that listen, you put somebody else to deal with a lot of, once you call out somebody like who's a real human being, civilian on Twitter, you send a bunch of your fan base to go abuse him as well. You're saying it's okay to be this type of person, even outside of the realms of a performance, which is I draw the line there, which you're 100% correct, and everybody should call that out.
And it's always, no disrespect. I don't want to marginalize white women, or I don't want to marginalize indigenous women or Hispanic women, but it is always universally despicable vitriol spewed at black women, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, and it's like is not even coming from a place of like I don't like you can't even justify the places it's coming from. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just and the fact that we can then justify that by saying he's such a great heel or something like that. Like I do feel like it has to be Sasha Banks was the one who said like, yo, I gotta turn this shit off at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be able to turn that shit off at some point, man. Like,
it's the reason why I'm not on fucking Twitter that much, because shit is toxic. But yeah, when you engage with your fan base or the people who are entertained, the reason why you do wrestling, people that are watching you and all that stuff, you gotta understand that they have a life. And that when you do something as an example, it sets an example for your fan base who are kind of deranged sometimes to do some stupid shit as well. So that has to be always conscious I think with MJF in particular, because your character is such an asshole. You're almost getting a cult of assholes to follow you and say, yeah, go ahead and say some more foul shit and don't go too far. Cause I think that I think that MJF will go too far one day. I think that one day he will, just the way he acts and he's young, I think that he's gonna have to learn where that line really lies. Because he's right now he's world champion, man. He has to. Yeah, it's gotten far.
He has to be able, because he's been rewarded for that behavior.
Exactly.
Right. Where will he know the limit? Because
until he gets spanked, and so it's like something happens where
the spanking is him being spanked is him losing everything, bro. Like
everything is wrestling, right?
He might have to. Who knows?
Right? This is a microcosm of the culture in general, bro. And we kind of had the spat earlier about the entitled white man who owns the company. Like this kind of falls in line with that. Like not that he owns anything, but you got the white asshole with the championship belt I can say and do whatever the fuck I want to say and do, and I'm not saying that to justify it, but it is going to take a spanking of some sort. But I'm saying all that to say this: it's probably not going to come because he has that. He has the
Let him say something about the LGBT community, and it's a wrap.
And as long as he continues to teeter that line a certain way, he'll continue to do so.
But see, you see where, unfortunately, this is where the tribalism comes in at, right? You heard what Chidi said. Watch him say something about the LGBT community. It's either that community or the Jewish community, and he's Jewish. So, like, everything he possibly says right now gets a quote unquote pass, just like everything that black people say about black people gets a pass, right? That white people. So we're in that space where the only community left that he can abuse, quote unquote, or say anything about will be the LGBT community. And I think that he is, quote unquote, smart enough to stay away from that. So it's nothing.
And I'm not wishing that on him. You know,
right?
realize,
No,
I'm not wishing that he gets canceled.
I want him to smarten up. You know what I'm saying? Like I do like a heel that knows how to like not placate to the crowd, but then he does. Like I can't say that he's a natural. Like I don't think Roddy would ever want to get cheers. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Roddy would ever want to be a fan favorite when he wants them to spit on him. You know what I mean?
I don't think MJF really wants to either. I think that he just where we are in today's age, it's not easy to be a heel and be like completely disliked. You know, people who are doing it at a high level, I think it's like a Baron Corbin where it's like, yo, for some reason, people don't give a fuck what he does. They don't like this nigga. You know, like that's like a heel purely in this day and age. You almost got to be like, we don't like you and we don't want to see you wrestle at all. Like that's kind of how it is where you get that kind of heat. But I think MJF is a guy who we don't like him for what he says. We don't like him for how he's a coward in the ring. Really, the character he's created has become this like over the top douchebag, just spoiled brat who thinks he's arrogant and knows everything and is smarter and sexier and all, and more attractive than everybody, which is not true. You know, which we see the delusion through it, but he doesn't see it. You know, he's a better wrestler than everybody. You know, this overconfident, cocky heel who feels like he has the right to oversay and do things that other people can't. You know, on some ways he has captured the audience, and that's what we can't deny. In this day and age, he's found a way to capture the audience as a new act, not somebody who's just recycling old work. You know, some of the things he's done have been brilliant, and I think that I don't think that CM Punk angle is the last time we'll see like, oh wow, that was a really good storyline with MJF. I think he has an interesting way of approaching the business, and creating intrigue. But I believe that yeah, he has to be careful. You know, this one, it was just racially insensitive with Takashita. And I think this is the most relevant Takashita's been because he's in the ring with somebody who's giving him a lot of, he had a promo with him. He had a promo with Takashita, which it didn't even need to do because he was about to have a match with Daniel Bryan anyway. So I think it also gives Takashita a little bit of a rub to be firmly as a babyface, and telling him to kiss my ass, was a good moment for him because obviously he's Japanese. We want to get him to get some time on the mic so to really garner some kind of feeling or emotion to connect with him. So that's what I took from it. I think that it did what it needed to do. Was it the highlight of the show? No, but it was the champion being seen, speaking his piece, and extending the angle with him and Daniel Bryan by saying him. And after that, you didn't hear it, but he talked about how he's going to be able to compete in the Iron Man match because everybody's been talking that he's not going to be able to do that. And then he took some shots at some of the celebrities in the audience as well. So that's just basic heel work to me.
Yeah. So again, and I'm with you on that. I think he teetered the line just how he was supposed to do, almost artfully. It was just like, hey, I'm gonna say something that's just like borderline, like I'm on the line, but you know what I mean. I think he now. How it was supposed to.
Yeah, now if it was lowbrow, he would have said, "Oh, your eyes," or oh, you're gonna eat rice or something. He would have said some real stereotype,
some fried
cat, something like that, and that would have been like, MJF, that's flat out racist. But I don't think, at least for me, that would have been the straw that broke the camel's back. But he didn't go to that, and that was cool with me.
No, he gave you just enough of the privileged white guy with the belt. He gave you just enough of that. Like, hey, we speak American here. Like we got just enough of that. But for us, because we're African American, we looking at that, and that's why I could get where Chris is at. It's like, all right, man, I just don't like the machismo that's coming with this mic not right now. But I get the promo.
I think he worked you, Chris.
Well,
I
done MJF.
No, I would say this. I would say this because I was watching the show on the TV when I went to go inside. Because I'm a narcissist. Listen, I completely understand what he is doing. I also understand and quote unquote can value what it is that he is doing, or trying to do. But what I do have to do is call it like I see it, right? And I do have to be like, okay, is there a thought behind it outside of you trying to be a shock jock? You know what I'm saying? Because I get it, that has worked up to this point, but again, when you get that right, well, listen, I'm a Cowboys fan. Dakota, you can only play as a 6th-round pick until you get that motherfucking, $70 million guaranteed contract. Now I need you to be Patrick Mahomes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You gotta conduct yourself, and you gotta play, and you gotta have the poise, and you gotta have all that shit that come with being a franchise quarterback. I think right now, like, yes, MJF, you can look at Moxley and he can cuss on TV and flip the bird and shit like that. But I genuinely think that's who the fuck John Moxley is. I do feel like that MJF is putting on a mask and putting on a character, and it is taking its toll on him, and he needs to chill the fuck out with that. He needs to be able to find the balance.
So you feel like MJF is really character. You don't
Yeah,
feel like
I don't think that's him at all. I don't
think that's him at all either.
Which is why it's more upsetting when he does shit like that offline or on Twitter or shit like or whatever the case may be.
His character is who he's created, and it's a way he's gotten over. So like it works. What's name broke, don't fix it. But however, I want to make it clear. MJF can tell a deep storyline too. Like just because he takes those, check downs in the flats as a quarterback doesn't mean he can't throw the bomb when it's necessary.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not against him being a lowbrow heel only affects me when it affects a larger, because again, we have to be human here, right? We can't look at Damar Hamlin on Monday night and then not feel a thing on Sunday, or also we can't not feel cynical and think that the NFL is packaging in the recovery of Damar Hamlin, like, hey, look, our sport is like not that unsafe. Like, no, nigga, football did that to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your sport is unsafe and they're glorifying the recovery, like, ain't got shit to do with football, nigga. That's God. That's prayer. That's the doctors. That ain't got shit to do with football. And the NFL, and I'm looking at when MJF is because again, Kyrie was plastered all over because what he did to a community, right?
What they extrapolated.
Exactly. Like, and my thing, if it's going to be good for the goose, it has to be good for the gander. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be controversial with one, then you have to be controversial with all. And if we're going to be conscious of one, then we have to be conscious of all. And I don't believe that MJF is going to be able to take that shit and do that Mexican shit with Bandino next week, because I think that those Mexican niggas do not play that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they fucking around with their heritage. They're not fucking around with their people. They're not fucking around with their mask. They ain't fucking around with none of that shit you talking about, nigga. So I think that it also got to do with and that's my thing. Like, if you ain't gonna try one, don't try one, try them all. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that he's doing that with everybody. And if that's gonna be his character,
I mean, he does it with everybody. He did it with everybody. He literally did it with the crowd right after that. He done it with Darby Allin calling him a school shooter. He takes whatever you come as.
That is
Brian.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
It caught my exactly.
He's going to roast you no matter what.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You see it and you're laughing. You crack it up because it's funny. It works. Like,
Well, it's
you know,
it's funny because that's against that rate. That's dumb. That's why it's funny. That's why it's like that is funny.
But he said it. Like that's what MGF has done.
But as soon as you drop that N-bomb, nigga,
and he better not.
MJF, I'm gonna find you, buddy.
You do not get a
school
pass,
shooter.
man.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good idea, boy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, is he gonna call black people welfare poor? Like, what is he like? What?
Listen, he hasn't done that with black people yet. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that.
You said yeah. Even you expecting it.
Triple H with Booker T, he was towing the line with that racial shit, and and look, and we love him today. We're like, yeah, Triple H, we want to run the company.
No, we kill that shit still.
For a minute, we had his head on the ledge.
His resume forever.
Yeah. For a minute, we was looking at Triple H like, nah, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was still mad, like until like this year when he got sick, I was like, all right, maybe I should like let it go.
Probably as recent as the last event we went to NXT in Orlando, we was like, hey, Triple H here. A word. Let me empty my bottle real quick. Like he's still like matter of fact,
like that. I mean, MJ, my thing is that MJF has not gone anywhere near what Triple H has done. So like, not yet at least. So we'll keep an eye out on that shit. But until then, we'll he's been all right. Even with the Japanese people, I can see that people can be offended about that. I don't think he went overboard though. I don't think he went overboard, in my opinion. But I'm not Japanese.
Moving on to the show. You want to stay on that match? That match was crazy.
Match was awesome. Physical, of course. Takashita looks like he's going to be a main player. One day I see him being TNT champion. Not too long from now, because he can wrestle, man. That kid can wrestle. I mean, he's young. I'm not sure how old exactly he is, but it's Japanese star Takashita, who's being like pretty much a homegrown. Because I haven't seen him in New Japan either. I don't know where he came from really, but he looks like he's being known to me, at least for the first time in AEW, as a main player.
They say that he did his thesis paper on the German suplex.
It's a good suplex,
bro. How the fuck you make a 12-page research paper on German suplex, bro?
I mean, I'm not sure if they're just joking when they say that, but I mean, he does have like a great way of transitioning to a German suplex. I've seen how he did with Daniel Bryan. He hit him with the I don't know what you call it when you got the guy and he just like kind of like sit on his head or some shit, and they picked him up, did a German suplex. But honestly, go back and watch the match. I can't explain all the spots. At the end of the day, the banger of the week, one of the bangers of the week. We also had Daniel Bryan came up victorious, if you guys don't know. So he has to get through a couple more matches.
That show had 3 bangers of the week. Three.
Yep, I agree. We had Hangman and John Moxley, who was started to kick off the show. Listen, they're like, yeah, listen, on site, let's go. We've been waiting all these weeks. Had a great banger of a match. And Adam Page finally got his comeuppance on John Moxley, and got the victory to get some more respect on him.
I really want a Hangman to be a tinge more physical.
He was pretty physical, but yeah, he could have been worse.
They were physical. They were physical. I just needed them larians to have a little bit more stank on them.
Yeah, I know. Like I think he didn't want to knock him out the way he knocked him. I think we learned from the lariat from last
JBL
time.
used to reach from his other shoulder blade, my nigga. Like that's what I was looking for, nigga. Okay. I was looking for like you knocked me out. I was waiting for one of those.
And Moxley's a pretty hefty dude, so when he hit him, like you ain't gonna like flip around like he's
Moxley looked like he just heavy-handed for no fucking reason. He looked like he one of those.
Yeah.
But
good match, and then we also had the main event, which was a trios match. Escalada de la Muerte, the ladder of death. Listen, I think the match was great, but obviously the finish, I wasn't feeling it.
Tomato.
It wasn't the greatest finish for me. We have the new the new trios champions are the Elite. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks defeated Penta, Phoenix, and Pac. So we all knew this was going to happen once they announced the
I was
freaking
just about to say
series.
that shit was about to happen, and I don't even watch AEW like that.
Exactly.
Bitch.
Which is why I thought it would be best for Death Triangle to keep it, but they didn't listen to me and they went with the Elite. So here we go. And then the biggest news of the night is I know that I said this is why like you were hating on MJF. I was like, yo, it's probably because his favorite guy in the world was back, and that's Adam Cole, baby. He has now made his return to AEW, and he cut a promo.
The real
So he's over MJF
The
because
real,
Adam Cole's back.
the real nigga, if you don't put Cooper Rush back on the bench.
So he had a good promo. I was really like not a heel or babyface promo. It was just like a human promo where he said, "Listen, you guys had my back when I was out. When I didn't know if I was gonna make a return, and you guys just wanted me to get healthy. And now he's healthy, and he said he has good news and bad news. Good news is that he's made a recovery. Bad news is for the AEW locker room because he's back. And his entrance was great. The music. It's all about the boom. Once that hit, I was like, oh shit, okay, business is picking up. I did not expect that. So the entire show altogether was fire. Lee Moriarty and Hook. Leo Moriarty and what's his name? Big Cass took on Hook and Jungle Boy, and Hook and Jungle Boy pulled the victory in that. I didn't see any of the women. Did you watch any of the women matches?
Absolutely, bro. How did we know? I mean, we can't.
Yo,
we can't
the
finish
YouTube TV is off, so I was like, I didn't get a chance to finish.
It was. I watched it. It's on.
It's off today. I didn't get to finish the show.
I watched it. There was Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker versus Saraya and Tony Storm. It was everybody was kind of upset because I think also too it's stupid to name a mystery partner and it not be a mystery. You know what I'm saying?
Literally, the girl sitting right next to you every
Yeah,
single
you know what I'm saying? And then niggas really thought that something
It's like me saying, yo, next week we're gonna have a special guest on the pod, and it's the Most High. I'm like, what? It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
nigga.
Now we had Chris last week. We got Jordan Roller on Twitter this week.
Nigga. And then niggas, I heard through Twitter. So after the match, the lights had went out, and they thought that like that was gonna be the debut of Mercedes. And they said a promo of the Acclaim came on, and they booed the shit out of it, brother. They was like, "Get this what? No,
I thought everybody loved the Acclaim, yo."
not when you think you got
not when you expected. Yeah, not when you expected that.
No one told you to expect that shit. You niggas stupid as fuck.
Yo, this is what I'm saying. Remember, so last year, remember last year niggas was expecting The Rock? Tell me why niggas doing the same thing, cuz. Again, already.
Wait, we were expecting The Rock for what? When?
Remember last year people was expecting The Rock to come to us to Royal Rumble or some shit like that?
I knew that was gonna happen, man. I mean, even this year, I don't know if it's gonna happen, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I'm not counting.
So
on
niggas already hyping themselves up being mad.
Yeah, I can't boo though for the fucking thing. They forget it.
Hold on,
They didn't tell you was gonna happen.
This is why. Okay, this is why I asked about Marvel and shit like that. We can't boo if we don't know what's going on, right?
You just gotta take it for what it is. No, we had. I mean, you sent something to us about Marvel. I know it's like a side conversation, but the dude saying that just accept Marvel for what it is, not gonna be as good as Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. Haven't I been telling you that for like the past year? Like, listen, it's never gonna be as hot as Endgame and Infinity War the next couple of phases, but it is gonna be special. And Secret Wars is definitely gonna be special in its own right. It's gonna be different though. I mean, and that's what you want. We don't want to be recycling the same thing. It's gonna have to take these new characters for who they are.
And I think for the most part too, like when it comes to that, that's why I had originally asked about the expectation about fans, like when it was like, oh, if they sell it to Saudi, is going to be changing. Oh, if they sell it to Disney, is going to be changing. Oh, if it goes to Vince McMahon, is going to be changing. Like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like,
well, specifically Saudi though, like if Sami Zayn can't be at WrestleMania for some reason, like that would have changed a lot. Like that kind of shit is big for certain fans, like especially me. Like I'm like, Sami Zayn has had a phenomenal 2022. and I'm looking forward to what he does at WrestleMania this year. So if that was sale went through last week, that was a rumor. I was praying that it was a rumor when it was announced, and it was, thank God. But I was like, yo, what is WrestleMania gonna be now? Like, I was really concerned. But with the sale impending for other companies, it's not gonna be as detrimental. I don't think. I pray we'll see. Speaking of Royal Rumble season, WrestleMania season, Royal Rumble is right around the corner. Who y'all pick? You guys want to pick now, or you guys want to give some more weeks?
I need some time to think on that.
All right.
I mean, time. Yeah, I would say if I had to, just for the sake of just saying something today,
in the Alamo Dome,
I think damn.
It's on the 28th.
Honestly,
we got 2 more pods before this, so you got time to.
Honestly, I think it's Cody. Like, just
I got Cody and Rhea so far. That's what I got.
I got Cody and Naomi.
I mean, we'll see. Yeah,
or Shayna. I don't know why, but I can see Rhea really being the winner.
Yeah, I think it's Rhea's year. I think if we don't do it this year, it's we'll see. Anybody else could be better than that is Naomi possibly. But after things fell out, I don't know if that's what they're gonna do to Britain debut her. Like, you left, walked out, and we're gonna give you a WrestleMania match. I don't know if that's how they think about it, but maybe they will.
Like, shit, nigga, that's the reason why. So I mean, listen, business.
Women-wise, what I would like to see, Naomi, but after her, I would like to see, and I don't know if she's out because of injury or whatever the case may be. I would like to see Natty actually win the belt. I would actually like to see that.
Okay.
Oh man, you and TJ, the only niggas.
That's cool.
Yo, but real talk.
I think if we in the space of if we just giving niggas the consolation prize, like she actually.
She hasn't won a Rumble yet. That'd be cool for her.
She hasn't won a Rumble, yeah. She's definitely been world champion. She hasn't had a WrestleMania moment.
Yo, but like, where the fuck is Natty? I haven't seen her in weeks or like months, maybe.
Honestly, listen.
For me, that's why I think that would be kind of dope. We ain't seen her in a minute. It's unexpected.
She on her Mandy Rose right now. Her and her sister, they channel lit.
Yeah. Do your thing.
That is a channel that can get real money for me, nigga.
Mandy jump was going up, nigga. You see the numbers?
Don't buy Mandy shit, man. All you gotta do is type her name into Twitter, and you see everything.
Listen, my nigga say I don't go on Twitter, but when I do,
it
works.
It came across my feed, and I was like, "What? Is this legal?" All right. Shout out to Mandy making $1 million in a month. That's crazy.
Mandy was running it up, but we've been saying Mandy was cool. I'll pick Mandy.
That nigga was.
I would never pick Mandy
on that motherfucker running it up, nigga. Mud baby, Mandy Rose.
It wasn't all that. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't mine.
It can't be, nigga. Don't nobody eat rare meat around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You better cook mine.
At least Natalia and her sister got.
I mean, hey, that shit tanned a little bit. I can tell you that.
But moving along, the week that was in WWE, NXT, Raw, SmackDown. Anything y'all want to comment on?
No, man. I mean,
I'm just curious to see how they gonna continue to write the Sami and Bloodline.
Oh, hit road turn heel. I can say that hit road turn heel.
That was necessary.
Yeah, that was absolutely necessary,
and especially with Legado. He's injured. Santos Escobar is injured, so that group was like the heel, like mid-tier group.
Yeah.
Tag team.
But where the vacuum raiders at though?
I was about to say everybody that
That's
they
right.
the tags, like they just it's just.
And then we got the Usos heel, and then we got them facing Judgment Day, who are heel. Damn,
everything's gonna hold it. You know why? Everything's gonna hold pattern until the top guys come back. I told y'all niggas, Cash and Dash was coming back, my nigga. We got top guys out.
They're doing the Cody thing and like waiting and then coming back WrestleMania. I see. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, that'll be interesting.
Everybody just mutter around shit. We listen. It ain't like I ain't never did this shit before.
I told you guys the best way for the industry to work is go back to how they did it in the territory days. Listen, once I'm out, I've ran out my steam here in this company, and I've faced everybody. Let me go over here and get a bag over there and wrestle some new people. All right, I'm done over here now. I'm not the new hot shit over here. Let me go over here and go back over here. I'm new hot shit again. I'm hot again. And I think that's how wrestlers look at their careers. And I think Mercedes is doing it perfectly. I think that FTR left WWE at the perfect time. I think Cody did the same thing, left AEW at the perfect time. He's getting stale. Other people were booing him as a face. I'm like, then he came to WWE, he's biggest face in the company. It's really crazy.
Where does
Jay White, NXT. Jay White takes a title off of Braun Breaker at TakeOver.
Damn, Jay White not worthy enough to come straight up?
No.
Yeah.
No. The way it's cool though, he ain't no AJ. He ain't no AJ. AJ's like one of the few people who was talked about for years coming to WWE while he was in TNA in America on TV.
Everybody, Shinsuke did it. Samoa Joe did it.
Because AJ was on TV in America for years as a top star. He may not be the biggest company in the world, but he was on TV as a top star and like their own homegrown talent in TNA Impact. So it made sense that he can just come up and just debut in a Royal Rumble. Jay White should go to NXT. They need him there anyways. Dragon Lee, NXT. Like I want to see the influx of some Japan wrestlers and indie wrestlers come to NXT. The homegrown talent guys are cool and all, but if they don't like grab you, it's gonna take a minute for them to really get that steam.
Even Mello and Trick is getting a little watery. You know what I'm saying?
Carmelo, if Jay White doesn't face him, then Carmelo should face Braun. Like it's been meaning to he's been calling himself the A champion forever. Like he needs to get that before he gets called up. I want to see him and Braun, go at it. And I'll tune in to see that match. Like I want to see that. So let's see what goes on with that. Apollo Crews is cool and all, but they gotta change his gimmick. It's ridiculous. Like what they're doing with him down there. It's really corny. Like he's having flashbacks and like PTSD and shit. Like I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Is it just him though?
I was like, yo, like it's literally been him. It's literally been him lately. It's like
because we did everything with this nigga to be quite honest.
My man to change nationalities twice. Like
I think this doesn't work for him. I don't think that it's just him. I think when he had a Nigerian gimmick, he was Intercontinental champion, and him and Biggie were doing great work together, great matches. He's a great wrestler still. Him and Braun Breaker still had a good match. It wasn't like 5 stars or nothing, but they had a good match. But him and Wes Lee can have a great angle with him as a heel.
All we questioning, I think, is the gimmick, the character. It's
gimmick, exactly. He has a hard time getting character work, and just put him in a leather jacket and beat people up. Like that's it. Like put him, make him a heel that just like I'm gonna talk my shit.
My niggas said make him the Black Triple H.
They give him the Drew McIntyre starter pack when he came back with the long leather jacket. Just give him shut the fuck up.
And then have
let MVP talk for you.
And like you're saying, like have him like put Wes Lee in like a camel clutch and say, "Yo, it's too easy. I'm taking your title." Like let that be his catchphrase because he used to use that. Too easy, too easy. All right, it's too easy for me to do this thing. I'm athletic. I'm powerful. I'm stronger. Him and Wes Lee having a real angle towards TakeOver, I would love that.
I'm with you, man. Simple is easy, man. Like keep it simple. It's like if you went with that, like nah, this shit too easy. And you know what? I'm tired of playing with you, WWE fans. I'm tired of messing around with these wrestlers. Yo, I've been him, man.
Yeah.
Just be ass. Like
I'm athletic, I'm agile, I'm powerful, I'm strong. Who can test me? Who can stop me? And I'm gonna now come for what's mine. I just realized that I can do things that other people cannot do. So Book and Black, yeah, Apollo Crews, you got to step it up, man. And I need a heel turn. I need an official heel turn. None of this freaking PTSD, psychic blast, what that's a Raven, none of that shit. Like it's ridiculous. It's like Jimmy Neutron in this bitch.
Man, Tuesdays is trash. Tuesday.
You didn't like the Battle Royal? Toxic Attraction? I think that could be cool. Toxic Attraction going after Roxanne.
It's essentially Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, a triple threat match. You know, or it's DX versus John Cena. You know what I'm saying? A triple threat match, like we've seen.
Yeah, but now you get to see this young girl trying to take on and to defend her title against two women who are best friends and who actually are the better wrestler out of the entire group of Toxic Attraction. Sorry, Mandy, but they were. I know she was like, I'm like teaching them the ropes and all, but to me, they were the better wrestlers.
Well, she was teaching them how to make a bag, nigga. Clearly, she was teaching them hoes how to make a fucking piece of change. You know what I'm saying? I was upset that Cora J didn't win. I really would have loved that feud over the title and everything like that. I would have loved to have Cora Jade and
we're gonna get it eventually, but maybe they're waiting for that one.
yeah, but by that time, bro, I'm ready to see somebody else. Like, where my girl Lash Legend at? You know what I'm saying? Lash Legend. I'm trying to see some new blood. Yeah, outside of that, man, I'm you know, I don't know what they're doing with these Basher brothers, with Sheamus and Drew.
Basically wasting time.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we know they're not putting them in no tag picture. This is just a burn time until we figure out, all right, cool, we're gonna put you on an IC strap or an American. Like they really just screen time, really. Like we know
until Sammy leaves the bloodline. This is what we're gonna get in tag.
Yeah, and then Raw ain't a thing shaking. You know?
Yeah, Raw was unsuspectingly really mid this week. And
you know,
like, does that coincide with Vince coming back? Like,
but you know what's funny though? Since Triple H then took over, like that's probably been the first mid Raw that we've had since.
And Vince just came back the week before, so I was like, this is really weird to me. Like, what the fuck happened? Maybe it's just a coincidence, but yeah, hopefully I can take it back up.
Also, I think it's like we also do talk about business and logic, right? We know that WWE doesn't put their foot forward when they know they're competing against. Like, listen, I don't think we're gonna get a good show this Monday, bro. It's Cowboys, Buccaneers.
I don't know about that. I've seen some good shows with
I ain't watching it.
Nah, they know they're going up against.
No, I know you might not watch it. That's cool. Doesn't mean that.
Yeah, they know they're gonna, even if it wasn't Dallas, like it's NFL playoff football.
I don't think they're not gonna put the best foot forward though. I think that whole
they didn't do it for college football. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's a correlation.
Yeah,
I think the college football championship was Monday. Like, they didn't put a good show on because.
You think they really do that? Like, I don't see that because all football season they have had great shows. Well, just this past week. I think what it is to me, I think is that this has been a long lapse between the last big show in November. So we're getting to a point where now we are recycling kind of feuds until Royal Rumble comes around. And, you know, we just got to kind of hold off these next couple of weeks until we get through Royal Rumble. That's what I'm looking at it as. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, but you just pay attention. I mean, like, really honestly pay attention. Once Super Bowl is done, we got Elimination Chamber. We really kicking into WrestleMania. Like, the scheduling of what they're doing is, I think, listen, Nick Khan, he ain't no dummy. He trying to let y'all niggas know, like, I know what, like, marketing strategies, like, one-on-one. You can't fight football. Football came in and took over Christmas Sunday, nigga. Like,
listen, I don't care what football does. Every week, I'm trying to have the best show. If I was in charge, I'm not going to take a week off or be a little bit lapsed because of it. I think that if you watch football, you should be like, damn, I missed this great match, or I missed this great angle, or this great promo. I'm trying to make my show the best every single week. Now, this week it was mid because they didn't really have no real progression on anything really. I know Bobby Lashley came back. He talked to MVP.
Yeah, that's
that was cool.
Yeah, Bobby
You
came
know-
back. Seth came back. Alexa explained herself. I mean, it wasn't a bad show.
Uncle Howdy, by the way, we gotta talk about this Bray Wyatt Uncle Howdy thing.
I'm fucking.
I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I'm a
that's-
little bit.
But that's why I'm fucking with. And I said this the last time I was on here. I was like, yo, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Why are you mad?
Nobody knows what it means, but it's so provocative.
Is it? Is it though?
It is.
I'm
'cause
sick of
every
this
week-
shit.
Every week they give you just like an inch more, and it's like, oh wait, okay, I was turned off last week, but okay, they're giving us a little bit more. So
I pray that the
already
payoff is
knew.
worth it.
we
And I'm
already
getting to the
knew.
point where I'm doubting that it's going to be worth it.
Nah, we listen, man. I got all the faith in it. I
Well,
really do.
I would say this. When we look at we talk about WWE as they have their own subset of genres within them, right? They have their comedy, they have their cinematic, they have the right. They have their subsets within their up under their umbrella. And I would say this, that nobody tells a story. Nobody has the vision. Nobody has the creative juices or blood to pull off whatever it is. So it is something new. It is something intriguing. It is something that it might not have a payoff of, but guess what? We said the same exact thing when we was watching whatever the fuck that match was with John Cena in that pandemic WrestleMania. When it first started, niggas was like, what the fuck is this? And when it ended, we were still like, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was fire. And I'll take that again with the with Undertaker, with the AJ Styles Boneyard match, right? There has to be somebody to fill that void of the cinematography that is presented to us when we're watching it, and I think nobody can do that better than Bray. So I would take the losses with the wins, with whatever he does with that.
I love, Bray's my favorite character to come out of wrestling in the past decade, 20 years, whatever. I believe that I, even as a fan of Bray, want a lot more explanation on the motivations for Bray, the motivations for Uncle Howdy, the motivations of, Sister Abigail, or anybody, that he brings into his act. And that's what I think we get some cloudedness with when we say Bray and we bring up these, ethereal, constructs, these ethereal characters that he talks about in his promos. What the fuck is their motivations and what is their connection to you? And why are you tormented by them? Now, because it was Sister Abigail before, now it's Uncle Howdy. Like, where's the correlation in all this? Because I need a thread.
I think he
come full circle.
He read my fan fiction, bro. I think he's being controlled by the Taskmaster.
Oh my God. No, he did not read your fan fiction, dog. It's not what happened.
You never know, man. He's being controlled by the time.
So he read your fan fiction and he took that and he just went with it.
Hey, niggas done stole for less. I can tell you that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Listen, if he's controlled by the Taskmaster, then power to you. I gotta see it. I gotta hear it. Yeah. You gotta tell me it. You gotta tell me. And Uncle Howdy, what is his motivation? Why is he popping up?
Which is why I wanted to ask, kind of not the correlation, but like, what is the difference between the Beyonder and Kang the Conqueror? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know they're two different entities, but one is presenting itself as the most powerful entity, but he can be controlled by something. The Beyonder is somebody that can control with telekinesis and mind control and shit like that, right? He can think for you and go inside your brain and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know if Beyond, so I haven't read any comics with him in it. But from my understanding, he's like outside of the universe to some degree. And he's very powerful because of that. Why can't he be a variant of Kang? Because at the end of the day, comics books are being coalesced into one movie. So sometimes there's gonna be some overlap in characters, and it makes sense that I know that comic book fans are like just
What-
tied to how it went
what-
down in the
I'm
comic book.
glad you said
But
that because you was
It doesn't make sense sometimes even.
Well, I'm glad you said that because you was upset when you thought that when we said that Uncle Howdy could be Bo Dallas, and sometimes these things have to overlap to where like he like I don't.
Bo Dallas was running around with Curtis Axel doing a bunch of bullshit for years, and that's the difference. Is that there's a precedent set already with Bo Dallas.
Well, so was Luke Gallows. Luke Gallows was Festus in a diaper. You know what I'm saying? Like the Godfather was. You know what I'm saying? Like you can go through these progression of characters.
Okay.
And you know who you are.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like Rikishi was the Sultan at one point in time. You know what I mean? Like
I hear you, and in that way, in that facet, I would just need to just strip my mind of like putting him in that box of Bo Dallas because
My answer
I think
is
Bo Dallas he did it for a long time. You know, Rikishi was Sultan for what? A couple matches. You know.
my response to all that is simply this, because it's really boils down to the storytelling. Is it? You know what I'm saying? Just like he mentioned, Papa Shango was this guy. You know what I mean? Like those characters worked, and they're in the Hall of Fame because they made the character work. Now, when you try to make the correlation between the Marvel thing, which is something completely different because the comics are already written. And my comparison to that was just like any other piece of literature. It's like, it's already made. You're just putting it to a blue screen. You know what I'm saying? So, but the same thing kind of remains the same for me. It's like, well, as long as the storytelling makes sense, I'm actually all right with it. Even as an enthusiast of the comic, if you give me storyline that makes sense, I'm all the way cool with it. Now, I had a conversation after talking to you guys with the guy that I always tell y'all about, my nigga Adrian. And I was asking him, I was like, listen, I just want to make sure I'm not tripping. And he was just sharing to me what he kind of been hearing on the grapevine as far as like the Beyonder and the Kane characters. And he was just like, well, he said, from what I'm understanding, first off, Fantastic Four, that's not even going to be in this phase. That's going to be like another phase or possibly two down the line. So there's your Dr. Doom. That's down the line. That's not even in this multiverse shit.
Okay.
For me,
I don't see how they can't do that.
Me, that's already one check mark. I don't need that right now. Take your time in telling these stories.
Okay.
Next off is between Secret Wars, where you have the Beyonder, and that's the Kang variant. You get the Beyonder because the original Kang, which is the Kang we about to see now, that's going to be your weaker version of Kang. Because if you remember in Loki, he was like, yo, I'm cool. Like, I don't want no smoke. But y'all don't, if you kill me, my nigga, you got to answer to these other Kangs, and they crazy. So we about to get the first level of that turn up. And we all know that Kang, he handled all the Marvel characters himself. And respectively, so did the Beyonder. But the Beyonder is just on another level. But what he was explaining was, you're going to get Kang to pretty much destroy the rest of the Avengers. And it might even be a callback to the old X-Men characters. You might see a callback to all these other characters that might have either been mentioned or had storyline before, but we're gonna do a callback since it's multiverse. We're gonna kill all these niggas off, and now he evolves to Beyonder.
Okay.
And now that's when you got the younger Avengers. Now we got to bring in a whole new cast of motherfuckers to basically rival this. So when he said that, I said, you know what? That storyline, especially if it's told not on a rush job, but you got like 8-9 movies that's explaining this and giving you this path, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because even what I said in the text to y'all yesterday, I'm like, yo, all I'm worried about is storyline. If the overall storyline is compromised or a character is compromised because of you merging a guy, then I'm upset. Then I'm going to be upset.
That's what I want to go back to Bo Dallas. If the characters are compromised by when this Uncle Howdy mask gets taken off, or when we see it as Bo Dallas, or maybe they don't take off the mask, we just know it's Bo Dallas. All right, boom. We just say, okay, Uncle Howdy. Now, does Uncle Howdy gonna be wrestling? You know, how is his connection to Bray and Alexa? You know, we had the doll was controlling her. Now we have Uncle Howdy. Like, it's just a lot. You know, Sister Abigail, a lot of shit that's not explained. Now, a lot of times, have you ever watched this horror movie and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, why did the fuck did this happen? What was this? What was that? That's how I feel with this Bray era right now. Of like, it's not coming together. The Fiend made sense.
Just to address that, what I was just saying, it's all storytelling. So what you expecting, typical wrestling shit, they give it to you 1 week, and okay, I know I'm gonna get an answer next week. That's the beautiful. That's why I'm fucking with this Bray shit, because no, nigga, I'm forcing you to turn in next week, and then I'm still only giving you breadcrumbs. We might not get an answer till after the Royal Rumble.
I probably won't. But like,
they don't have to give you 0 to 100 miles an hour.
And I didn't. You know what's funny? I didn't expect that when he first came out. He came back in October. I did not expect. You know, it's now January, mid-January, and we're seeing Uncle Howdy just walk out and just look smoky. You know, like, I'm done with that. You know, and then he takes out Bray, and we don't know what's going on with that. Like, that's not enough for me. Him kidnapping LA Knight, and then that's when I took it to you. Kidnap LA Knight, next week he's just fine. Like, what's your motivation, Uncle Howdy, if you're just walking out trying to like scare people?
I think the motive. I mean, I think realistically, like, and this is what I'm saying, like, it's a TV show. Like, we have to go. The motivation is a slow burn for Bray Wyatt to turn back evil, right? I think we like the fan favorite of Bray Wyatt doesn't fit who Bray Wyatt is to the core, and that's what those snippets and entry coming is like. Yo, nigga, like, I know the real you. It's his subconscious. Uncle Howdy potentially is his subconscious in a physical form. Like,
and that's what I was saying when you were like, no, Bray's not feuding with himself. I'm like, that's what it felt like to me, and I was for that.
But even with that, if it is Bo Dallas, it gotta be somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even if he is feuding with himself, who better to act like Bray better than his fucking brother?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just to go back to another conversation me and you had a few weeks ago about them cutting homeboy hair off. Yeah, you got a certain image of Bo Dallas, but what if this nigga come back super badass with the beard? Now I'm saying, like,
it got a cut, you know.
Yeah, you thinking Bo Dallas, but you looking at him like, nah, this ain't Bo. Nah, nigga, that's Bo Dallas, and that nigga look crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's Uncle Howdy, nigga. Like, Uncle Howdy.
I don't know Bo Dallas, nigga. Ain't no Bo Dallas. You know what I mean?
I mean, we'll see.
But deadass, what if Wyndham kids call Bo Uncle Howdy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if, like, we don't,
okay.
You know, what if it's Bray really pinning some real intricate shit, and we giving them too much credit that we don't know. But again, this shit, if we are fan fiction in it, right? If this is something like Uncle Howdy wants Bray to get back into a sadistic self, because that's when he was at his peak. That's when he went out. That's when people knew his name. That's when people was chanting it. That's when you really can spread the message of whoever is controlling you, because you had the power of the world in your hands when you was a sadistic motherfucker. And all is coming back to the crowd saying thank you and I love you, and nah, nigga, go snap this motherfucker face off. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't want to do it? I'm gonna do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I fuck.
Also, one more point.
I'm gonna follow to that nigga to the pit.
One more point I want to add to that is adding to everything he just said, and I think I'm gonna tie it with a bow by saying this is he can't do it the way you're expecting, because he's already done that not once but twice.
I'm not even expecting nothing. I just saying,
but that's what I mean. You have an expectancy, because the two prior Bray Wyatt characters that he's done twice was just because it was under Vince. Hey, all right, let me rush job this thing on out, and it was still a masterpiece. Now with
the Fiend wasn't. The Fiend took like a month and a half. It was SummerSlam. It was like his debut.
It was quick.
And it wasn't quick. It was wild.
Quick. A month is four. That's 4 Monday Night Raws.
It was more than a month. I remember. You remember the Fun House? It was like a while. You're getting the Fun House. There was no creepiness.
We understood the Fun House within a month's worth of time, bro.
But also with the Fun House though, Rich, though, with the Fun House, we were also like, okay, what is this? You know what I'm saying?
Not really, because during that introduction, he already was taking guys out and was like, okay, we kind of get it. There go John Cena with the X on his face. Like, it didn't take as long as it's taking right now. That's all I'm saying. Like, whether it's a month or 2 months,
Okay.
it wasn't taking this long is what I'm saying. We still kind of understood, okay, he got these puppets. That shit is crazy, but all right, we know he knocked this nigga off, so he about to make this a wall of fame over here. Like, we still had a better idea of what was going on because Vince ain't going for that drag this shit out. It was, all right, give me the microwave version, man. Let's speed this shit up. I know you got a 2-year plan on this, but make this 2-year plan a 2-month plan.
And I think when we talk about WrestleMania, Royal Rumble situation, this pitch black match with LA Knight, I think that's where we're gonna finally see the unification of Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt, and we see that as a unified front or whatever the case may be, or we possibly can get the extension of Bray and Uncle Howdy fighting. Like, we can tell the story of Bray fighting himself in this Bray and Uncle Howdy at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? That's something that can be done. You know what I mean?
Alexa gonna have a match the same night that on Royal Rumble, or is she fighting Bianca that night?
I mean, more often than not, they'll probably do that and probably have like a no disqualification type of situation or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I think that would be something that will happen. Gotta happen.
And that's all gonna tie in. I believe that's all gonna tie in.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're all cross branding this entity, and I like the fact that Alexa's still getting haunted by it. I think it's dope. You know, I've always liked the intertwine of Alexa into his darkness and how she got, you know, kind of, sucked into it. But I'll give it some more time, you know, and you guys are talking me off the ledge. I'll give it more time and I'll see where it goes. But it is getting to me because every time I see Uncle Howdy, it pisses me off now. I don't care. Like, but we'll see where that goes from here. But yeah, Royal Rumble right around the corner. We got KO versus Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn. We'll see how he influences that match and going forward. The bloodline angle. Right now, we're in a lull before we get to, you know, the culmination of what's been going on for the past 6 months to 8 months. You know, but I like the storyline they're telling. Roman saying that, you know, he lost that match and he was embarrassing. Him shouting on at Sammy last weekend, saying like, "You trying to beat me?" All that stuff. I see the cracks forming, but at the end of the day, he can, you know, you want to take that time with that, you know. So,
it was classic gaslighting in that joint.
Yeah,
you know what? No, you were wrong to apologize.
I apologize. Yeah. Roman's he's at a level right now when he's on screen, he knows exactly how to, you know, portray what he needs to portray, how to get to a certain level of like what do you call it, like tension, and then bring it back down. You know, he's done it twice now with Sammy, and I like that he can do that with his because the tribal chief is a real thing now. It's like when he's around, you feel like there's a presence of powerful force around that. You know, if he actually is upset, something bad might happen. You know, like he's in charge of shit.
Well,
that's how it feels.
That goes back to what I was talking about with the MJF situation. This is like when you're the company guy, like that's the type of energy that you walk around. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your dick is the biggest. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you throw that bitch over your shoulder like this and be like, yeah. You know,
but how many championships did it take for Roman to get here?
That is true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. So when we talk about that, the command of a Cena, a Rock, you know what I'm saying? Like those guys were at the helm of the WWE, WWF at a time where like it was on the verge of not being cookie cutter, right? So when we talk about what's our expectation and what we want and what we desire, we're not always able to give that when it's a diet, right? When we get light juice or light ranch or whatever it is 30% less. So nah, nigga, I need my salt. Go on, give me my salt. I don't need you to tell me how much salt I need. And that's what they was doing with Roman Reigns. Right now, Roman is seasoning his own self. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I know what I am. I know how to season myself. I know how to present myself.
Before Vince was force feeding them down our throat at that time too. They was force feeding them back then too. It was like, nah, we gonna give you Roman. We know y'all don't want Roman. We gonna give you Roman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But even when we did want Roman, when he was in the Shield, right? When he was eliminating niggas in the Royal Rumble and Batista won that Rumble, we was like, damn, nigga, like how you cool down Roman like this? But they was trying to say, nah, we're giving you a nah. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
build something one way and then microwave shit the other way. If you're gonna give us microwave, if you're gonna be McDonald's, nigga, give us McDonald's. I want my
yeah, McDonald's, my nigga.
give
Yeah,
my nuggets and fries, nigga. Don't tell me you make steak all of a sudden and give me salads
nigga,
and shit, nigga.
And I'm telling you right now, like MJF is gonna get stale. Like he's just like Roman. It's just gonna happen. Like it's like I'm not like surprised of when that happens. Just like if Hangman didn't lose that title, he would have gotten stale. Just like if John Moxley didn't lose that title, eventually would have gotten stale. But yeah, MJF is going, especially if they want to give him a long run, you know. But when it comes to Roman, what's helped him is the bloodline, is the Usos being up on his side, is Solo adding to the mix, is Sami Zayn has really extended his intrigue and dynamic of this whole act. So he has a lot to thank them for the extension of his run and the entertainment value that he brings every single time he comes back out. You know, the ratings go up and all that stuff because we know the Tribal Chief is like respected now as an entity, has his own energy when you come to SmackDown, you know, and beyond because he's influencing Raw now with setting the Usos over there every week to cause mayhem. I think that how Raw started was cool right off the bat. Them, you know, causing a ruckus, turning over the table, saying we're taking over. They got to set up the locker room to take them out and set them up in some matches, but yeah, man. And I see Solo's growing into you know, a lot himself as well. So like I like where things are going. It's just we are right now in a holding pattern until the Royal Rumble. You know, which obviously we knew was going to happen because the last event was November, in the middle of November. So it's been a minute, and for them to get this far before it got stale, it's good because they've had some really good episodes weekly up until now.
Oh man, speaking of that, we've been having some really good weeklies, 2-hour shows. I appreciate you guys tapping in, you know what I mean?
Hard work out here, boy.
Man, I'm high as a so but yeah, man, we gonna motherfucking we're gonna watch SmackDown tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be in a group chat. We're gonna kind of keep our eyes out. And I'm gonna try to do these afternoon joints, you know what I'm saying, kind of the day after wrestling, kind of when I got some time. So if you're around and you see me, you get the alert, you know, shoot me a text, I'll shoot you the link. You know?
Speaking of which, man, CT, you gonna get back and doing the Chitty Banger joints, man? What's good, man?
Come on.
I need that. I was looking forward to them joints, bro. I was tapped in on them joints.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know, man. I will say this. I'll probably one day it will return. I just don't know when it will.
You hear that loud?
City bang. Listen, I do miss doing those, but if I do, I will have to change it up a little bit, and it might have to be during the pod, but there's just a lot going on. But I'm gonna try. One day
we'll make it a part of you know what I'm saying. I thank you guys for tapping in. Episode 187. I tried to make it something Griselda-esque, but I couldn't really think of nothing on the fly. So if y'all think of something, send it. I'll fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? 187. Griselda on the Arabic murder.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
What's going on? 187.
Yeah,
okay. 1, 2, 3. On the 2nd of February will be 190. And then we have 10 more episodes to get to 200. So episode 200 is going to be before WrestleMania probably.
Is it? Let's do the math real quick while we're here. You say, okay, 180, you said, okay, 188, 189, 190, okay, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 90. Damn.
On my birthday?
Nah, I think I did the math wrong. Fuck. Damn, I think we'll be at like 99 a week after.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, after Mania.
6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so the 13th of April. 13th of April. So it'll be after WrestleMania. After WrestleMania is what date?
April 3rd.
All right. So the show after the two
Oh,
shows
April
after
April 1st and April 2nd. So Saturday
Okay.
and Sunday, yeah.
All right. So we got after WrestleMania. So we'll do. I'll try to get some bangers up by April. Episode 200, but we'll do something special. I know we take our hiatus, but we gotta do our 200 episodes.
Absolutely.
Especially since we're like virtual now, we don't got to get the whole set together.
Nah.
But yeah, but we'll figure it out, man.
We might have to make that a thing for 200, man.
For sure. But as we say every week, all's love. Everything is wrestling. Copy your merch at eiwshop.com. It's been
Come
real,
on,
guys.
Please buy some shit. Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace.